If you believe that sales is sleazy or manipulative or an icky thing to do, we need to have a conversation because you, my friend, may have just fallen victim to one of the demonic lies about selling that keeps so many people back from achieving everything that they could in life and in their business. And as a result, these things keep you broke as a joke with nothing but a poke. Now, before we go any further, I want to start off here because there's this fundamental misunderstanding about what sales is and what it means to sell. If you go back at the word sell to the Nordic root all the way back, it means to give up. Now, if you have fallen victim to the lies of the enemy and his forces, what do they say about selling? That what you are doing is manipulating. Like you are trying to take advantage of somebody. You're trying to go and get, grab, and you are trying to win, and beat them and barter to the point where you've effectively just pillaged the whole village. That isn't selling. When you go to sell, what are you doing? You are giving. In fact, one of the laws that people who are most successful tend to go, they tend to think about sales this way in business, right? They say, I would love to add 10 times the value of whatever the price tag that I put on whatever it is I sell is. Okay, so if you offer a haircut, no, does that haircut make that person feel 10 times better than what you offer? If it's a higher end service, does your service provide 10 times the value that they otherwise would miss out on? That, my friend, is giving the service, right? To sell is to give up. We want to share in such a profound way that it does. It elevates the soul. It elevates the community. It elevates the single person that you are selling to. That you connect with them not just on an intellectual, logical level, but also an emotional level. That is the beauty of sales done the right way. Dare I say, the biblical way. Now let's dive in specifically to these lies. I got 3 for you. You want to stay to the end so you catch them all. Number 1, that selling is lying or manipulation. Let's think about this. If you lie, you aren't going to give up something. And if you do give up something, you're going to be shortchanging somebody for what it is. That's not really sales. It's just lying. Right? That's just corruption. That's manipulation. That's not what sales is about. That's not what genuine commerce is about. It's about helping that other person. Saying what you have transparently, delivering it, and even, dare I say, go above expectations. So when I worked marketing for car dealerships, specifically what I would do, go in, day out, and help with the photo and video content. Now, I want to emphasize the importance of what that content did. It was to create transparency, because the last thing any customer wants is to walk into a dealership after seeing something online and saying, this car you showed online was clean, it didn't have holes right here, it didn't have any dents, and what is this? I mean, this is the wrong colored car, it's the wrong make and model, it's got dents. What are you showing here? What kind of operation is this? You think that person, if they get to that point, that they're going to buy? No. No, you have to do things the right way, the ethical way, the righteous way. Selling should be a righteous activity. And if in your heart it's anything else but that, you need to recalibrate what you think sales is. And you need to ask yourself, why do you think that is? What stories or what instances do I have in the past to think that's what it's about? When you go to the store and when you buy something as simple as fruit, ask yourself, what am I expecting here? Am I expecting that when I buy this watermelon, that it's going to turn into an apple? That it's actually an apple that's been painted over to look like a watermelon? No. You expect it to be honest. You expect it to be true. Sales is and should be, in its purest form, a righteous activity. Lie number 2, And this is for all my fellow creatives and service professionals that you think, you know what? I want to get into business and I want to start a business. I want to grow a business. And when I do, God's just going to send them to me. They're just going to show up. I don't have to do anything. I don't even have to lift a finger. God's just going to deliver them to my door. I've got news for you. But before I share it, let me ask you a question. If you're married or you have a significant other, how did you come across them? Did God send them to where they were just knocking on your door and say, hey, behold, I am your spouse? Or was it a matter of you going and keeping your options open and saying, you know what, I don't know. I'll just say hello. You probably said hello. It was probably the first interaction. You probably had no idea that person would be your spouse. Let alone, did God send them directly to your door, say, I'm your spouse. Let's go to the courthouse. Let's have our wedding ceremony in 2 hours. No, it didn't happen like that. And if you're not married, it's not going to happen like that. Of course, there's one person in the comments is going to say, oh, well, you know, it was one time, and it doesn't mean it can't happen. The point is this. If you are relying on that as a business strategy, it's not going to work for you. And if you're somebody who says, I don't like selling, but you're trying to be in business, you're going to struggle. And part of the reason you may say you don't like selling is because you have bought into these demonic lies that it is a bad activity. And maybe you're just assuming that God is going to show up and just give you an abundance of clients without any labor. Part of the fall, part of the curse of men is that by the sweat of our brow, that is how we produce, how we profit. Got to work the field. And that's not always easy because you're going to plant seeds and then there's going to be seasons that they have to go through. And at the right time, the harvest will go through. I mean, that's your sales cycle. That's the process from first point of contact to they buy and they purchase. And then what do? Well, you keep serving. You keep serving. You try to help them as long as you possibly can and serve them in a righteous way that elevates their life. Line number 3, and it's a doozy. Money is evil, and wanting more money is greedy. I want you to think for a moment. Is it good for a person to have a job? Generally in society, we'd say, yeah. Yeah, we want people to be productive. We want them to get paid. That's good. Okay, well, if that's the case, how much money can you make without it being evil? It's a good question. Is it wrong for a person to make $30,000 a year? Is it wrong for somebody to make 100? Is it wrong for them to make $1 million a year? 10 million? Where does it stop? Better yet, a better question is, what did these numbers we say and the value of that currency even mean? But we're not going to talk about that in this video. What we are going to talk about is, who are you to judge this to begin with? And what does it even mean? There's an idea that the money in your bank account and the money that you make in your paycheck or the profit from your business comes as a result to the surplus value you've added to the world, how you have served in such a high way, according to the marketplace. Now, I've done ministry, okay, and I've been paid a minister's wage at times, and I understand that. And I think some of my fellow Christian brothers and sisters, you probably have gone through some of that as well. And so if you find yourself jumping into the business space from that, you're like, okay, well, this is different. I don't know if I could charge that much. You need to recalibrate what you think value is and what value means. And so that's the idea. Money in itself is a tool that God gave. He put gold in the garden, believe it or not. And for a long time, people have talked about money as, and for a long time, people have talked about gold as a store value and as a form of money and currency. And that's what it would be used for. And so Is God against money? No. Gave it to us as a tool, as a vehicle. For you to say that money is evil is effectively you saying cars are bad. Well, why would you say cars are bad? Oh, well, cars kill people. There's something else people commonly use this argument for, but we're not going to get into that either. See if you know in the comments. A car isn't evil. What you decide to do with that car could very well be evil, but that comes from within your own heart. You need to ask yourself, what's the motive? If my motive is to get behind the wheel of a car and drive as fast as I can and not care about the results, who I hit, what damage I do, that is from spirit of evil. That is something that needs to be repented of, and that needs to be rejected by society. That's lawlessness. But you, my friend, if you say there and you're like, you know, I want to make more money so I can go and provide for my spouse. I want to get my kids out of the public schools and out of the indoctrination systems. I want to get them to where they are taken care of. I want to be able to provide for my elderly parents as they go into retirement, and I want to supplement their income. What is wrong with that desire? Tell me. If it comes from a holy and righteous place, and you want to be able to give, and you want to be able to serve more, what's wrong with it? You have to ask yourself this. We're going to talk about ends and means. If money is the end, and the end all be all, I got the money, that's it. Oh, my precious, if you know that reference, that precious. Well, then you're crossing into greed. Money is currency, right? And a current flows. It was made to flow. So how are you going to steward it appropriately? What you have currently in terms of wealth, assets, is not your own anyway. It belongs to God. What are you doing with it? What are you going to do with it? Remember the scripture says, for the love of money is the root of all sorts of evil. And some by longing for it have wandered away from the faith and pierced themselves with many griefs. The love of money. Not the money itself. It's just a tool. It's just a tool. But if you love it, well, all sorts of evil might be coming your way. God is the one who gives us the ability to create wealth. That's Old Testament reference. God gives that ability to create wealth. So simple prayer. If you find yourself in a position where you feel called to serve more, pray. God, give me the ability to create wealth so that I can serve you. I can let my light shine before men and make you known all the more. That, my friend, would be a powerful prayer. Now, if you want more help making sales in your business and growing your business, I've got a guide just for you. It's called the 7 Deadly Sins of Marketing. In that, you're going to see the 7 problems that I so commonly see all these business owners struggle with and how to fix them. Specifically, so you can avoid the pitfalls and understand, if you are great at marketing, make sales a whole lot easier. Because marketing's the first step. If you have such a gargantuan pipeline, it's going to make selling a whole lot easier. Because at that point, it's just numbers. It makes it easier. So if you want that guide, it's down in the description below. 7 Deadly Sins of Marketing and how you can solve them, how you can fix them. Go down below, get that. Also, there's another link down there. If you want more help specifically selling online, you can go and find that down below. Let me know, what other lies or misconceptions or things about sales did you not realize that were going on in your mind? And for those of you who've overcome it, what was the epiphany? What was the thing that's gotten you over the edge to say, yes, it's a way to serve people. It's a way to show love to God. And it's a way to show love to my fellow man. Let me know down in the comments below. And I'll see you guys next time.